Okay, welcome guys. Today I have a very interesting video for you guys. I'm going to be comparing AI certifications from Amazon, Microsoft, and Google side by side. So I prepared something for you. I think you'll find it pretty interesting. Now, these AI certifications, these are all cloud-based AI certifications, just FYI, because we also have a lot of AI jobs that are not cloud-based. So in this video, we're specifically going to be talking about cloud-based AI certification from Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. And on top of that, I'm only going to compare the certification that truly has enterprise value. So I'm only going to be discussing professional and associate level certifications. Basically, if you do this, you're going to have good value in the enterprise. I'm not going to discuss more on the foundation level because each of them have foundation level ES certification as well. So the specific certification that we're going to actually go over is in Amazon, we have this new certification called AWS Certified Generative AI Developer Certification. Professional, it's on the professional level. In the Microsoft, we're going to discuss Azure AI Engineer. This one is on the associate. They don't have anything in the professional level. And in Google, we're going to discuss professional machine learning engineer. Now in Google, they only have one certification that also combines AI. So it's named machine learning, but it actually also covers AI. And then later on, I'm gonna kind of go over, this is Amazon, all the certifications over here, and then Microsoft and Google. But I think when I do the comparison side by side, you'll find some pretty interesting concepts that's gonna come arise. So in the first column, I have Amazon, the AWS Certified Gen AI Developer Professional, the first column. Second one is Microsoft Azure AI Engineer Associate. Third is the Google one, Professional Machine Learning Engineer. So the first metric that we'll see is the certification level. In AWS, the AI certification is at a professional level. Now we have three levels, foundational, associate, and professional. Now if you go over here, just like in AWS, we can see like foundation is the lowest level, associate is the mid level, and professional is the top level. I think in Microsoft, they also say, instead of professional, they say expert level. But we go back over here. So in AWS, the AI certification is on the professional level, and Azure is on the associate level. They don't have anything on the professional level. And in Google, they have it on the professional level. Now, what is the primary focus of the AI certification? And before I go over this, I think I'm going to quickly go over what is generative AI and agentic AI for people who don't know this. So generative AI is something like where you use a tool to generate text, images, video, sound. Now, generative AI real world example is like ChatGPT. This is generative AI. We ask you something, it generate text. Same thing with GitHub Copilot. This is generative AI. And nowadays with Google, we have Google Whisk, which is generative AI. We create images. There's a Google Whisk, create images, and Google Flow, we create videos. So generative AI has a lot of practical applications nowadays. And for agentic AI, the one that is very popular nowadays is actually Salesforce, Agentforce. So agentic AI is where we use AI agent to do some task autonomously and with optional or required human oversights. So AI agent, like they go in and like over here, we have a sales agent and it does a bunch of tasks. So this is called agentic AI. So I just want to quickly tell everybody this, and I'm just going to close this, and that way we don't have this open. And so basically that's what generative and agentic AI is. Now, the primary focus of this AWS certification is generative AI and agentic AI. It covers both. Um, With Azure AI Engineer too, it covers both to most of the certification. In the Google certification, now here where it gets tricky. The name of the certification is still saying machine learning. However, they do also have it is machine learning heavy, but they do also have generative AI as well as agentic AI, but that is not the primary focus. But it does have. I just want to note this that it does have Gen AI and agentic AI, which we're going to show over here. So over here, just generative AI coverage. Both of them have strong. Over here, emphasis it does cover it, but it's in moderate level. Now, in order to get proficient in generative AI in Google, you have to complete Google specific courses and training path to be totally proficient in this in Google ecosystem. Same thing with agentic AI. Over here, the certification coverage is pretty good in both AWS and Azure. For Google, agentic AI is not that much covered, but we have to go over this GSpace Google Cloud Platform. We have to complete Google specific courses training path to have full proficiency on agentic AI in Google. So that's just to compare. Now over here, I can quickly show you that generative AI agentic, even in the syllabus where it's mentioned. For instance, if I go in AWS and if I go to the exam guide, and if I pull up the exam guide, um, you will see that it has, hang on, let me see where it's at. Mm. So right over here, you see it says Agentic AI, and then it also have Gen AI. Like it has both Gen AI and Agentic AI. Now, other thing, see in this certification, the AWS Generative AI, check over here. It says we don't have no machine learning, and so basically these two certifications, AWS and Azure, there is no machine learning totally, actually. Uh, Only in Google we have machine learning and AI combined. Now over here you can see with the in the exam guide for AWS that model development and training and advanced machine learning are out of scope. So this is very interesting. So this is like pure AI certification, no machine learning. Same thing with Azure AI Engineer. If you go down, uh, you will see it has generative AI and agentic AI. There's no machine learning. So basically, if you're a software developer engineer, like a traditional one, you guys can still do these ones, this one, because there's not much machine learning over here. Only this one. Now, if you have a data science or machine learning background, and if you want to do an AI certification, now a lot of companies, also just have one cloud platform. Now, if you have a data science or machine learning background, and if you want to be like kind of king in your ecosystem, this Google one, uh, like it combines both machine learning and AI. Now over here, I put in positional philosophy. Basically, in Google, they want you to be a full stack ML engineer. Now, a full stack means you gotta know both machine learning and AI together. So you don't have a different AI certification. So now this one is very friendly for people that have machine learning data science background. But these ones is actually both of these are very friendly also for software developers and software engineers too, because there's no machine learning at all in these two, not much. So let's go over here for the certification validity. Now, AWS certifications are valid for 3 years. Now, the thing is the time duration is different, but there's a catch for a renewal too, and I'll go over this. AWS is valid for 3 years. And after the 3 years, you have to retake the full standard exam. Like you have to retake full. Now Microsoft is only valid for 1 year, but there's a like a trick point over here. that for the renewal, we do not need to take the full standard exam. For the renewal, we just take an online renewal assessment, and the assessment is only going to cover the updates that have since happened. And so it's not as hard as a full exam. So that's the difference between these two. And Google also is valid for 2 years, and after the end of 2 years, you have to retake the full standard exam. Now, I do want to note that this AWS certification, this is a very new certification. This is actually in beta. And so what beta means is that uh, you only have one attempt to take this certification. If you fail this certification, then you have to wait till March 2026 in order to retake it. And after March 2026, you can retake it every 14 days, even if you fail it. And the other one, too, is a standard certification. They've been out for a while. And this is what I already covered, the retake policy. Now, I'm going to carry over this onto the other tab because the headers are not sticky. So let's go over here. Now, let's go over these two rows you can ignore. I'm going to go over in detail. Let's go over the suggested certification path. Now, I'm going to give you a certification path where you're actually going to acquire the skills that you're actually going to be valuable in companies. So I've designed this accordingly. For AWS, before you do the Gen AI Dev Pro, I am recommending that we should do at least, well, actually, let me show you over here. Uh, so these are the AWS certification. So if you go down, this is the foundational, then you have associate, and then you have the professional. Now the one that we're discussing is this AWS Generative AI. So before you do this one, I am recommending the first one you should do is either Solution Architect Associate or AWS Developer Associate. One of this, if you can do both, that's great, but at least one of this, because in AWS you're going to be setting up architecture too. One of this, and after you do one of this or both, then you do this AWS Certified AI Practitioner. It's a foundation level. This one is very small. It'll take you like 7 days to 14 days to do this. So the second is to do this one, and then you go ahead and do this Gen AI Developer. Okay, so just to recap, one of this, architect, developer, then you do AI practitioner, and then you do Gen AI. This is the suggested certification path for AWS. For Azure AI Engineer, what I am recommending is this is the Microsoft Azure AI Engineer. What I'm recommending is first you do Azure Developer Associate, AI 204. First you do this one. Second you do Azure AI Fundamentals, and then you do Azure AI Engineer. Okay, this is the recommended path that I'm recommending. In that way, you'll have good knowledge and skills to implement AI solutions. So basically AI 204, 900, then 102. And this is what I put over here, 204, 900, and 102. And for Google, and let's go over to Google. For Google, this is the Google one, Foundation, Associate, and Professional. And we were talking about, this is the machine learning engineer that we were talking about. Now for machine learning engineer, I'm recommending cloud engineer. And after this, do the data engineer, and then do the machine learning engineer. Now, if you, after cloud engineer, if you're doing the data engineer and you're not following, you're not understanding, then I would recommend after cloud engineer, do data practitioner, and then do data engineer, and then do machine learning engineer. That's what my recommended plan is. They do have a generative AI over here, but it's very high level, and it's optional if you want to do it. You don't really have to do it because over here the plan is already too big. So that's what I'm recommending over here. And I put over here, cloud engineer, professional data, and then the professional machine learning engineer. And then the alternate path I put in that if you don't feel comfortable with this when you're doing this, you can do this before you do the professional. Now this is good for if you're a junior developer or a mid-level or even for a senior. But if you're a lead or architect, what I would really recommend is in AWS that you should also do solution architect professional because the Gen AI Pro is not just doing AI, you're really going to be setting up architecture. So if you're a lead and architect, I would really recommend doing this solution architect professional as well as the Gen AI. Now, now in Azure, well, actually, in the Google Cloud, let me go to Google Cloud. In the Google Cloud is the professional cloud architect that is recommended. Over here, we come over here, and this is the Google Cloud Architect is recommended for leads and architect. Now for Azure, it's kind of tricky because in Azure, it's optional because the way the certification are designed, uh, the one that's equivalent is Azure Architect Expert. Now over here, we can go and I think somewhere over here is going to mention Azure Architect Expert. Over here, Solution Architect Expert. I think it's 305. If I'm correct, is it? Did I put in? Okay, I didn't put it in the name, but it's the top one in Microsoft Solution Architect Expert. Now, in this one, it is really optional because over here, the way the certification is designed is good to have. I mean, if you do it, it's really good, but it's not really required. So overall, what I really want you guys to take from this is because sometimes if you're already in one ecosystem, then you don't have any other option. But if you're coming from outside and you're brand new, this gives you a very good high-level overview and comparison of different ones. For instance, if you're a machine learning engineer, data science, and you want to get into AI, and you want in the ecosystem you want to have the best value because if you go to a company and if they're only a Google Cloud platform and they do AI, you guys are going to be king because the machine learning and AI is combined into one. However, if you're a software developer engineer, you want to learn AI, these two are really good. So, so hopefully, I just wanted to do a quick comparison. I will leave all the links in the description. So I hope you find this video informative, and I will see you guys later. Thank you. Bye.